Alright, in this video we are going to see how I have created a mini OTT platform with the help of WordPress plugin. So let me show you what it does. So as of now in this website we have two videos which you can purchase. One is already purchased and I'm going to demonstrate how are you going to purchase this. So once it's purchased, how you can access it and how admin knows that you have purchased the course. So let me show you what it does. Now I want to watch this course. Now I would click watch. So once I click on watch, it will take me to a payment gateway page which I'm going to use Razorpay for now. It's live now, so that's the reason I have made the price as low as 2 rupees. Let me use my phone and scan. I have scanned the QR code and I have entered the required pin. Now it's confirming my payment. Once the payment is done, this page would get reload. Once the page gets reload, you see the watch button will get transformed into watch now purchase. Now once I click on watch now, you'll see you'll get an access to this URL. As of now it's down. Here you have to add the embedded link, but I have not added the embedded link, that's the reason. So if I click on the watch now of this URL, you'll see iframe opens up where you can watch the video which you have paid for. Now if I want to get into all videos, I'll click on all videos. You'll see the list of all videos, and so this will only work when you are logged in. So if I log out, or let me show you, I have access to this courses on the dashboard as well. So if I click on watch, you'll see I have access to this as well. Now let me show you while logging out and sign in as a new user, or now as a subscriber I have the course. Now how admin will know that someone has bought the course? In that case, you'll see a custom post type which I have created. The admin can create a post. Here in this case it's going to be video, and if you click on purchases, you will see the list of people who has actually purchased. In case the admin wants to remove access of a particular person, he can simply click on revoke button. If I click on revoke button, you'll see Laravel course has been removed from the user. So if I get into incognito tab and if I click on dashboard, you will see the Laravel course is gone. And if I get into the front end, again you have to pay for it because the admin has revoked the access. Now, so this is the usual flow. I'll show you how to add the video as well. So let me click on videos or add post. So you have to get this embed link. Now this is actually available on YouTube. What usually happens is people will upload the video on the YouTube and set the playlist or set this video to private, so or unlisted. So when you set this video to unlist, the one who has URL can only access the video. So let me add, so let's say JS project, JS course, and this is going to be the URL link, and the price I'm setting is 1 rupee just for testing purpose, and click on publish. So you have to set the featured image as well. You have to click on the featured image, and let me select some old feature image, click on set and update, and in the front end now you should see 3 videos. Refresh this, you have 3 videos. So let me log out. Now a third person comes in to the website and looks for the video and wants to purchase one. So let's purchase. If I click on watch, you'll see it is saying that you need to log in to create an account. So without login, he or she won't be able to access this course because we would be providing the dashboard as well. So for that we need someone who wants to view this videos should have dashboard. So that's the reason why we are making them to register. If I click on register, let me set the name, and since it's running on localhost, I won't be getting any email. So I have to manually give access by getting into users, and this is a new user. Let me set the password. Since it's running on localhost, I have to manually set the username and password. If it's in server, let's set the same name. If it's in server, then the user can himself set the password. Now the user is created. We have created the user now. Now I want to watch the course again, and it will take me to login page. I have to log in now with the same username and password. Click on login. Now I have not bought any course, so that's the reason why every button is watch. And in the dashboard also you will find, let me just clear all, don't need this, don't need this. I have not bought any course, so that's the reason why it says no purchased videos. So let me purchase one. Let me purchase this Laravel. I have made the payment. Now once we find this screen, the page would get refreshed, and it says you can watch this course now. Also in the dashboard, if you refresh, you will see you have bought the plugin development course. Now as an admin, I can check the one who has done payment. So this is the guy, we have changed the email address, has bought this course, and I want this course to be removed from this guy. In that case, I just revoke it. Then he has to pay again and enroll for the course again. Now see, it says no course, no video. So my point is, I have added Razorpay to get the course, and also I have made admin as a monitor to, in case if we want to revoke the permission, revoke the feature which we have provided, that is also possible. That's the point that I wanted to make. So now what are the things that are we going to learn? We are going to use shortcode. So this is a shortcode. You can see this is a shortcode that is allowing us to have the custom post type data in the form of grid. So we are going to see how to create shortcode. Second thing is custom post type. So we have the videos post type and purchase post type, which is inside as a submenu of videos. So we are going to use two post type. And the third thing is custom dashboard. So all these manipulation, you can see we are going to create a custom dashboard. So we are not actually creating custom dashboard, we are creating custom widget. So this is the dashboard widget that we are going to see. Also all these manipulation are going to be done with one simple logic, that we are going to modify the user meta table. So what happens is, we are going to set a flag. So in programming term, flag is nothing but an extra information, and this extra information will be there to know that whether it's logged in or whether it's logged in or not. That's one thing. That's one way of setting flag. The second thing is, here we are going to see whether the user has purchased the video or not with the help of the flag. So this particular table, which holds the information of the user, will have a flag called purchases, and if the purchases is yes, then the video is there. If the purchases is no, then the video is not there. With the help of this flag, we will set the permission to remove, whether to add give permission or whether to revoke permission. So that's the logic that we are going to use. Other than that, since it's the additional information about the course, so its information is stored in the post meta, not in the user table. Sorry, user meta, not post meta, user meta. Similarly, we have post and post meta. That's the topic of the next video. So without wasting time, let us jump into the plugin. Now let me deactivate the old plugin so it doesn't conflict with the plugin that we are going to create now. First and foremost thing, we need a folder inside the plugins folder, and we'll name it as OTT. And inside OTT, it's recommended to have the PHP file, same name as the folder name. We'll stick to that, PHP OTT.php. Now we want our plugin to show in this page. The minimum requirement is we should have a plugin name. So we'll name it as UI Monk OTT. Now if you refresh the page, you should see a plugin name UI Monk OTT. Now when I click on activate, I want a custom post type to be created on the sidebar. So let's do that. I'm going to call a hook called init. When the init hook is called by the WordPress, it should call my custom function. So in that case, it should open a CPT. So what it does is, when the init is called by the WordPress, this init will call my custom function. My custom function, what it will do is it will register a custom post type, and the post type is going to be videos. And should it be accessible globally? Yes. So you don't have to worry about this. And it should have title and featured image by default. Now if I activate this, you should see a sidebar with CPT videos. So if I click on add videos, you would see title and thumbnail feature available by default. So this is title, this is featured image. Now as I said, we want one more CPT as a submenu. We'll look at later on, because it will break the flow now. Now we need meta box. We are going to use meta box so that this post can have additional information like URL and additional information like fees. So for that we have a hook. Again, just like in it, we have add meta boxes. When this hook is called by WordPress, our function would get called. When our function gets called, it will call a callback function, and that callback function will have the necessary HTML. So this is ID for the WordPress, and this is the H1 of the meta box, and this is going to be the callback function where your HTML would be, and this is linked to your CPT. So this meta box is actually linked to your CPT by this ID. Now we need to define the callback function where your HTML would be there. So we have our HTML, we have YouTube link, and we have a price link. And when the data is what happens is, as I have already said, that additional information about the post is going to get stored on the table called post meta. So we can access the values in the post meta using the function get post meta. So as the name suggests, get post meta, and this post is linked to the post meta table with the help of ID. So that's what we are passing here. We are passing our post ID to access the post meta field. So these are the two fields. So if this field is not there, it will create. So that's the work of this two function, and this is required in case if you reload the page, the data you have already entered should persist. So that's the reason these two functions are there. Now our two meta box will show up in this page. So once I click on publish, I want these two data to get stored on the post meta. So for that again we have a hook called save post, and over here this save post will actually call our function, and we are checking whether there is a value or not. If there is a value, then store it into the post meta with the help of ID and the URL and the value that we have received with the help of post super global variable of PHP. Now let's just try adding one URL. So get the iframe value and paste it. We can set it as course. For testing purpose, you can make this 1 rupee and set the featured image to something like this and click on publish. And in the front end you should see 4 courses. So it won't show up until we create a short code. So we need to create a short code. So our next step would be creating a short code with the help of a function called add short code, and this is going to be your short code as I have already shown you over here. So you can see you have to add it inside the round square bracket, and as you guessed, it will fetch all the values. So we have a post type, and I have named the post type to this VM video, and we are using the query and getting the query in the over here. And since there would be multiple posts, we are going to use while loop, and simply it will just print the thumbnail, the title, the price, and if the user is logged in, and if the user has purchased the course, then this link would show up. If the user has not purchased anything, then this link would show up. So as of now, I'll remove this function and I'll create this. Once the short code is ready, if I refresh, you should see the list of courses. Also, this is how it looks without CSS. So we need to enqueue the CSS first. For that, we need to create a style.css on the same folder where our OTT is. We'll simply copy paste this, and we need to link our style sheet to our plugin. WordPress has a hook for it, which is enqueue script. Once the enqueue script is called, our function will simply add the style. So this is the URL for the URL till our folder, and inside our plugin folder we have a style.css. And now if I refresh, our styles should get added to our plugin, and the last course which I added is coding. So you can see it's working, and it says purchased. It should not show that. It's showing because we have logged in. That's the reason. If logged in, so everything is purchased. Now we need to set a function that is going to define the logic. Now I'm creating a function and passing the user ID, current user, logged in user, and the video ID. As of now, the video ID is not there. So if someone has purchased, then there would be a video. This video ID is nothing but the custom post type ID, which is this one, videos. So now we need to pass these two, because we can easily get this since we are in the while loop of this video CPT. We'll pass the ID, which is going to be primary key. If the video is there, then a new variable called VM purchases _2 would be created, and inside that, actually now it won't be created. Now at this stage what happens is it is checking whether there is a variable VM purchase is linked to this current user. If it is linked, then return this value. If it is not linked, then return false. So now you will see also we have to edit this function. So if there is any value, in that case you will have the anchor tag where you can watch. If it doesn't return any value, that means the variable purchases to is not linked to the user. So a general button that will trigger Ajax will show up. Now whichever is purchased will be in blue, whichever is not purchased will have the button where it will trigger Ajax. Now I want to trigger Ajax with the help of this button. So I need to write JavaScript. Let me add a JavaScript. Like CSS, I'm going to have it in the same structure. It should be inside OTT script.js. and we have to link just how we have linked the style. Along while linking, we also need to pass some values like our Ajax URL, our Razorpay key, and the JS for the Razorpay checkout. So this is responsible for opening the pop-up of Razor.js, and we are linking our script.js to this plugin. And the third thing, we are setting the Ajax URL, which is admin-ajax.php on this variable, and the second one is Razorpay key, and the third one is login URL, and the fourth one is a function that will have whether the user is logged in or not. If the user is not logged in, we need to show an alert, and we have to redirect them to the login page. So that will be decided based on this variable. So either it's going to set true, either it's going to set false. If it is true, then the user is logged in, then the payment gateway will open up and it will accept the payment. If this function returns false, that means the user has to send back to the login page. So now when I click on the button, the orange button, it is first going to check whether the person is logged in or not. If the person is not logged in, as said, a pop-up will open up and say you need to log in or create a account to purchase. And once someone clicks on OK, then he or she would redirect to the login URL. So now you see we have two values. One is VM-ajax in script where we have written, you can see this is VM_ajax. So this is the parent, and with the help of dot we can access either one of this value. So that's what we are doing here. We have logged in, either it's going to set true or false, and this is the login user. So this is for the non-logged in user. What if the person is logged in? If the person is logged in, then the button which triggers the Ajax actually has the video CPT ID and the price that we can access over here, and we need to pass an option to the Razorpay object. So we have this because we have linked the Razorpay checkout.js link. So with the help of it, we can create an object which it will accept a argument which is an array, where we need to send the Razorpay key, the amount, the currency, the name, and the handler. So this handler, if it is success, what it should do; if it is failure, what it should do. When the payment is done, what we need to do? When the payment is done, we want a record on the database so that the admin knows that someone has paid for the course. So in that case, the Ajax is written and it is post, and we are linking our Ajax with a hook with the help of action attribute. So this action attribute is responsible for accepting the values which we send through Ajax. What are we sending? We are sending values like video ID. So we have to get the value from the Ajax and store it into a database. So how are we going to do? We have to link the action with the hook, and that hook is wp_ajax, and whatever is left out, it's the action. So VM_save_purchase. You see, VM_save_purchase. As a prefix, you need to write a hook wp-ajax. So whatever you write here, it's the action attribute, and WordPress will know that there is an Ajax written for this, and it is going to accept some value. Now what should happen? Once the Razorpay is success, I want to send the values like the video ID to this function. So we have the current user who is logged in, and we have the video ID. Now we need to link the video ID with the user, and that detail has to be stored on the post meta. Now what I'm doing is I'm getting the post meta value, which is VM purchases. In this case it's VM purchase underscore 2. Yeah, in this case it's 2. There are like one user can have multiple videos, so that's why I have made it as an array. So we are creating an array. First of all, we are checking whether there is a value or not. If there is no value, then make this as an array so that multiple video ID can be stored on the particular variable of the user meta column. And I'm storing it into an array and updating the post meta. So for updating the user meta with the help of user ID and sending the once it's successful, then what should happen? Then the page should get reloaded. So till now, let's just open it in the incognito and let me just log out and try accessing it, whether to check whether it says yes, I log in, and we'll use the same, which is Vishal and Vishal. Oh, I don't have to create because I already have an account. Login. In the dashboard, we don't have anything because we have not created a widget yet. Let me just purchase this Code Igniter course. Once the payment is done, what should happen? Our value should get added to this URL. So let's just wait till the page reload and let's check whether the value is getting changed or not. Yes, it's getting changed. Now what should happen? Let's check in the database. Click on browse, and this variable should be linked to a user, which is this one, and it's there. It's linked to the user 64. Now what should happen? Now when I click on the video, it should open on a new page. So in that case, we again have a hook called template redirect. So this template redirect is actually run before any page loads. Let's say if I click on any link on the website, there is a function that would get called, and that one such function is template redirect. So it will, before showing any page, I'm saying a function should get called, and this function will, if I click on this link, you will see a new ID is there, and this ID will access it with the help of get parameter. This is little confusing, and you have to understand what template redirect is. Template redirect, as it says, when I click on any link, before opening a link, WordPress gives a chance, and that chance we are making use of it. And while making use of it, I am accessing the get variable. Once we have the get parameter, I'm storing into an ID, and if the user is not logged in, then you should see this message saying that access denied. If the user is logged in, then get the video ID, and that video ID is stored in the post meta. With the help of video ID, the additional information about the video is stored in the post meta, and I'm passing the video ID, and the additional information is stored in the variable called VM underscore. This is the key, and this is the value, and that value holds the YouTube embed link, and I'm having it inside the iframe, and we have 2 break tag and 2 links, and these are hard coded link. In case if you are using this, you have to change this link, and for time being I have just added the same link of my local host. So if I go back to dashboard, so the next thing is I want to show it to the admin that these are the list of people who has purchased the course. So we need to create a CPT, and it should be like let's have this over here. So on the admin menu, create a submenu, and that submenu will be linked to this. So if I click on the videos, you should see the link, and this link should match with this link. That's only when you will have the submenu inside this main menu. So this is responsible for having the purchases submenu, and rest is same. And this is a callback function that we have to use to display our table. So if it's not there, it will show an error. That's why I'm just creating it. If I refresh it, now you'll find a submenu called purchases. If I click on it, it will be blank because this function is blank. Now in this function, we need to have a custom table, and this custom table is similar to what we have already done. So this is episode number 70. I'm just going to give a little hint about it because we have already covered many times about the WP list table. So whenever we are going to use list table, we have to call a class, and that class is inside includes folder, and we are extending the class, and our class is VM purchase table. So we are expanding the WordPress, extending from the WordPress default class, and we have to set the column with this function. So this function, like the get column, the prepare item, and the column default are actually written on the WP list table. We are just overriding it. So in the get column, we want 3 column. That is what we are setting, and in the prepare item, we are saying from where the data should get fetched, and we are going to fetch the value from the user table. So that is what we are going. That is what I am doing here. Fetch the column, fetch the data from user table, and store it into users. Now we will be displaying individual rows of user, and only the user who has videos, that only should get linked. So that's the reason why I am linking the user ID with the variable user purchase, which is on user meta. Now when this value is there, then only display the user. Now what are the 3 things that we need to list? We need to give the user email, we need to give the video name, and we need to have an action button, so that we know that how to revoke the access that is granted. Now if the user is not linked to any purchases, just display those values, and we are displaying the email, we are displaying the title of the video, we are displaying the user ID, and we are displaying the post ID, and we are passing it inside the data, and that data would be executed by this prepare item. And the third thing is, we want to modify the column. Since we have 3 columns, the first column is responsible for displaying the user, the second column is responsible for displaying the video, and the third column here is what we need. Here we have a button, and that button is responsible for revoking the permission. When I say revoking the permission, it's very simple. Since our user is linked, our user table is linked to the user meta with the help of variable called purchases. Now this purchases, once we make the purchases column as blank, then that means the permission is revoked. That's how the logic is written. I hope I have made it clear. Once the variable is cleared on the user meta, then the link between the user and the video is removed. So for that, what I am doing is, I am having the button called revoke, and this button will have a get parameter, and that get parameter will have some values linked. First thing is revoke. equal to 1. The second thing is user ID. The third thing is video ID. So this video ID is stored in the user meta, and this user we can access it with the help of this user ID. That's the reason I am passing this in the URL. Now before writing the Ajax, so it's not Ajax, we can access the URL value with the help of get parameter. So let's do that on this function. Along with that, we'll create the object. Now since this is get parameter, we can access the get parameter. If there is a revoke, yes, if it is revoke, then access the URL using get parameter, and then get the relevant value from the user meta, and then update it. So once it's updated, show the message access revoked, and then this is another thing, we are creating the object of the class which we have called. You see over here wlist table, and we are calling the prepare item. This prepare item is responsible for displaying the user information, and we are surrounding them into an HTML, and then we are calling the display function which will render the HTML. So you can see this guy has purchased code igniter course. Now if I click on revoke, I want you to notice the URL. So you can see this URL has user ID and the video ID. So once we have the user ID and video ID, we'll simply remove this. Once we remove this, this is the issue because it's the old value. Yeah, it's gone because once I refresh it, this got hit. Once this got hit, this function got called and it revoked it. Now for the widget, it's again a CRUD operation, just as we have done on the WP list table. A hook called dashboard widget gets called by the WordPress, and I want and our function, relevant function, would get called, and when our relevant function gets called, our widget function we have written inside it, and this is a callback function, and that callback function is responsible for displaying the user. This is the similar logic what we have written on the list table. So before listing all the user, we are checking on the user meta whether the purchases is there or not. This purchase underscore to, whether the purchase is not. If the purchase is not there, just make this empty. If there is a purchase, then get the ID, get the title, and display it in the form of list item. So if I refresh, you should see a widget. It says no videos found, and if you make a purchase, let me just make a purchase. Cool. Anyways, it would work. So as of now, our scope is done. In case if you want a source code, it will be on the description. Thank you so much for listening. Meet you tomorrow or meet you the other day with another plugin idea.